me put my shit on silent. Oh wow, this is like a full on.
This is a real deal.
Yeah. So you must rent this out to people, huh?
What's that?
You rent this out to people?
No, this is his. This is his personal thing.
You have your own podcast.
He's letting me do it here.
Of course, but you have your own podcast, right?
Yeah, he has his own podcast. Yeah, him and his.
But that's not the original person that was on the group trade, right?
No, that was Carson.
Yeah, so you're friends with Carson.
Yeah, so he's friends with Carson. He introduced me to Carson.
Mm-hmm.
Carson runs podcasts for people.
Got it.
Produces podcasts for people.
Got it.
Carson has a studio in his house. I don't know if you've ever been to his house.
No.
But he has a studio in his house.
Oh, okay.
And he has podcasts that are done there with a separate video crew and everything like that. But I did my first season with Carson at his house. And then the second season, I kind of switched gears and I said, okay, I'm going to do it on my own and have my own production.
Mm-hmm.
But then Carson's team puts it out on Spotify and Apple iTunes and does the clips and all that stuff. So I'm still using Carson, but it's kind of like I've kind of graduated a little bit.
Yeah, I got introduced through Bruce
Cardenas.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce is my boy.
Bruce, but my boy, he just texted me.
I love Bruce, man.
Oh shit! So how long you known Bruce?
Fuck, bro. Like, I'd say 5 years. He's gonna be like, he's gonna make a joke.
I know he's gonna.
Can't tell who's who.
Yeah. Like you all look the same.
Yeah, no, Bruce is my boy, man. I met Bruce through First Form because we carried First Form products. We carry First Form products in our gyms.
Oh, you do?
And so Bruce came in through that. But Bruce is a great guy.
He's a good dude. Yeah.
We do.
He's everywhere.
Taking him to we did a lot of stuff together. Actually.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
And when I told you about my partner that happened to when he was robbed,
yeah,
Bruce was the guy that hooked up the security.
Oh, really? Bro, we got 100 stories. I don't know if an hour is going to be enough, but we're going to try to make it happen. You know, we should do part 2 in Florida.
Yeah, no. Honestly,
we should do part 2 in Miami.
Planning on coming to Miami to do something else, but to do your podcast.
Yeah.
Too. Because I usually go once a month to with Eric with some type of event or something. And, I just thought that I would come up there. You're in Palm Beach, right?
I'm in Palm Beach.
Yeah. So I was just going to come up there and do the podcast. And then I had this guy that wants me to help him with this booty program in an online app.
Yeah.
Him and I were going to go out there and shoot it. And then I was going to do your podcast. So I was going out there for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
But you're here.
Yeah. No, we're going to make it happen. No, we make it happen.
I like Palm Beach. I want to stay at Breakers.
Bro, have you been?
Yeah.
Bro.
Are we recording?
No, we should. No, are we going?
It's been on since you guys sat down.
Oh, it is?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
okay. All right.
Yeah. No, I was just saying because I met some bitch up there one time. I totally went to it was the first time I ever met her, bro. And I met her at Breakers. And I just thought to myself, I wonder how many other dudes she's met here at Breakers,
100.
Yeah, 100.
100.
And it worked out. It was cool. But but I've been there. But I need to go back for a different story.
We'll go there. After we do the show, we'll go there.
Yeah, for a different story.
It'll be a fun time.
I just keep thinking Donald Trump was going to come around the corner or something.
It might happen. You never know. He's right around the corner. He's right down the street.
Yeah.
So, man, this has been awesome. I know we've been trying to connect for a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Are you born and raised here? What's the story?
Yeah. No, so I was born here. I'm first generation American. My parents are from Pakistan. My dad was born in India before the partition.
Okay.
It used to be one country.
Yeah.
And some first generation American. My parents came here to chase the American dream.
Yeah.
And go to college.
My mom too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I disappointed her because Indian boy, so become a doctor, and I went to school for it, but then I didn't become one. So I'm a forever letdown in her mind. So
me too. I should have been an engineer or some shit or a doctor.
Yeah.
But my dad passed away young, so I feel like I was just lost for a long time.
Yeah. So where'd you go to school?
I went to school. I grew up in Upland, so it's also in the Inland Empire. But I grew up I was born right here in LA, Amarada, and then I ended up. My parents moved to Upland in 1994. I was 10 years old. And that's kind of where I grew up. Went to school there. Went to high school there.
Yeah.
Then I graduated high school, and I kind of thought Thought I was gonna go into the military. Couldn't stay sober long enough to fucking go through the process.
Yeah.
And then I ended up having like a job in construction, and I did that because that's what my dad did. But not like he owned the company. I was working as a worker.
That's not,
Believe it or not,
Yeah.
I was in the carpenters union, bro. I don't know if you know
Were
what
you?
it is. Yeah,
Bro,
I was a
what?
carpenter apprentice. Yeah, I was a fucking shovel boy basically. But yeah, bro, I worked for this I now that I think back, bro, it really taught me the value of a dollar. But so my dad was my dad was an engineer, but my dad was also a contractor by trade. So he owned a general construction company, right? Then he went bankrupt because a whole nother story. He was alcoholic. He was fucking up all kinds of stuff. But after that, he got sober. He ended up working with the guy, and they were like an iron company, like erect iron and shit.
Yeah.
And so when he passed away, passed away when he was like 55.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah, his birthday was yesterday. It would have been 79 yesterday.
No kidding.
And so he passed away young, and so I didn't really know. And I was like a wild kid, bro. Like, I mean, I was experimenting with dope and drinking since I was like 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, bro. Yeah. So I was like a lost kid. So after high school, I thought I was going to go in the military. I was a wild kid. My mom was just like, what the fuck am I going to do with this guy? I was the youngest one. Everyone else was older. And my mom basically, one of my dad's old friends, his name is Mike. He was like an older white dude, and he taught me how to be a man, bro. And he gave me a job, and he's the only guy, bro, that I can say to this day that put hands on me besides my dad.
No shit.
Like, yeah, I remember I was like 18 years old, bro, and I was fucking up. This guy, he did a lot for me, bro. He helped me buy my first car. He like gave me a union job at the time. It was good money for like an 18, 19-year-old kid. It gave me a company truck, a gas card, all kinds of stuff. But I would get so fucked up every day of the week that I'd barely make it into work, or I would not show up. And so it was a construction company, and they did like big projects. Like they'd build like $80-100 million schools, bro.
Oh, and so commercial
stuff. And so we're like concrete, bro. So like, concrete's like the most expensive part of building, right? And so one of the most expensive parts. So we did all the concrete, and like I remember one time, bro, it was a big pour. It was like 100-yard pour, which is like 10 trucks of concrete, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't show up, bro. And I woke up to this dude pulling me out of my bed, bro. Like, so basically he called my mom. He's like, where the fuck is this guy at? The crew started at 5 a.m. This is like, now it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up to this literally being picked up out of my fucking bed, bro. And he's like, you motherfucker, you're fucking with my money now. And he throws me across my room. And he was like probably in his 50s at this time. So like a bigger old white dude. And I remember just like waking up, and he comes up to me and he's like starts teeing off, but he's slapping me fucking with his open hands. So he's not trying to like fucking
Yeah.
And he's just pissed, and he's like, now you're fucking with my money, and I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna help you, but by all means you're gonna get better or what. And he was like, get your shit together and go down to the shop, and you're gonna fucking pick weeds today because you fucked up my concrete pour.
Oh.
And I was like, and I remember and I remember he had bought me a car. He had helped me buy a car, and I was making payments to him, right?
Yeah.
And he made me ride my skateboard down there, bro. He's like, ride your skateboard. You can't drive the fucking the truck.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's tough love. Did he have kids himself?
Yeah. He had like 3 daughters. He was a good dude, great dude. He's still alive. I mean, he's a great guy. I think about him all the time.
Yeah.
He basically taught me how to be a man. Taught me the value of a dollar.
Yeah.
I was always fucking up, and to be honest with you, like, I think he prepared me to like move on, like, because, I didn't want to be in construction my whole life. It was a family run company. Like, his son-in-law didn't like me much. His kids didn't like me. They thought I was a threat because, he had all girls, and he was like a man's man.
Yeah.
He like treated me like his son, bro.
Yeah.
He showed me mad love. And, you could just tell it was a weird environment. So I ended up like that was when I became a cop. Like, that was when I started the process. I started going through backgrounds.
How old are you?
I was 20. I was 21.
21. Okay.
So I worked there from like 18, 19 to like 21.
Okay.
I turned 22 in the academy. So,
yeah, it was like me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was super young. I was the fuck up. It was funny. I was talking to my academy classmate like 2 days ago, and she went back up to the same academy that we all went through,
Yeah.
but for LT academy.
LT.
Yeah, lieutenant academy.
Oh.
Every single time you promote, they kind of send you back to
Oh, I didn't know that. No, they don't have
well,
that in
the state
Jersey.
they do. Yeah.
In Jersey, no.
Yeah. So, when you promote, you go to sergeant's academy, you go back up to the academy, and then
No, I didn't know that. It's a California thing. Yeah.
well, I think it's a big agency thing.
Yeah.
Like you're a
Yeah.
big agency, you do that. Like, I don't know what LAPD or
What agency was this at?
this was the Department of Corrections.
Oh, DOC. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. Not every state is DOC's peace officers. We're peace officers.
Yeah.
I think New York is also, and I think Florida. Well, they give their fucking COs and their sworn staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peace officer. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, what made you choose that over the military?
I couldn't get into the military, to be fucking completely honest with you, bro. They wouldn't have taken me in the shit that I was doing, the condition I was doing. I mean, I was partying, bro. I mean, I like literally every moment I got of free time, I was getting fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, that was like one of my concerns. I remember like when I was filling out the packet, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, how you have to like schedule days to get fucked up in the military?
Yeah.
And but anyway,
But you weren't worried about that with going to the police academy? Wait, was your police academy sleepaway?
yeah, it was 6 months long.
6 months, and you stayed there. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had liberty like at night and like weekends.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I was yeah. I mean, I just got away with everything there. I was fucking up there though too. I mean, my classmates would be like, make sure, because there's a watch commander, right?
Yeah.
You walk in and walk out.
Yeah.
And every night they'd be like, all right, Syed, don't fucking look at him. Just keep walking, keep walking. Because if I got stopped, they would know that like I reek like fucking booze.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'd like try to smoke a bunch of cigarettes and shit before I came in because I wouldn't smell.
So you made it through.
I made it through, and I remember my drill sergeant was like, he's like, hey, Syed, you're going to be a good fucking knuckle dragging fucking cop. And I was like, why is that? And he was like, well, none of us thought you were going to make it through. Like, you're so young and like, you're fucking full of piss and vinegar, bro. But like, he's like, you're going to make a good cop because you're fearless, bro. But like, you're wild, bro. Like you're going to need to like, you're going to grow up real fast when you get to your point. You go, where are you going again? And I tell him, and then he'd be like, oh, you're going to a level 4 yard. Yeah, you're going to grow up real fast.
Oh wow.
And yeah, that's kind of what happened. I mean, it was that's where I went straight literally from the academy into a level 4 maximum security prison yard.
So explain level 4 for some of the people who.
Yeah, so California's categorized into 4 levels, 4 custody levels, right? Depending on your committing offense, once you commit your crime, you get convicted. You get to reception based on your committing offense. So you get put on a point system, right?
Okay.
And so the higher your points are, the worse you are, right?
Okay.
And so there's level 1, there's level 2, and then level 1 and 2 are usually like lower custody. 1 is dorm setting, and then when you get to like 3 and 4, it's higher custody. Anything after 3 is electrified fence around the facility.
Okay.
And level 4 is the worst of the worst. So it doesn't matter if like your points are fucking sky high. If
4 is the highest.
Yeah, 4 is the highest.
Okay.
But there's shoe units and back then they called it administrative segregation. I don't even know if they call it that anymore. And then they have the shoe unit, security housing unit, and I worked it all. But mostly I worked a level 4 GP yard, which is fucking, for anybody that's either been to prison or worked in a prison, they know that it's a cracking yard, bro. There's a lot of violence. 3 to 5 attempted homicides a week.
Wait, 3 to 5 attempted homicides a week?
Yeah, I mean like 3 to 5 stabbings a week, bro. In the summertime, maybe even every day.
Like people just shanking each other in the yard?
Yeah.
It's a gang.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if a lot of people, most people don't know this, but on a level 4 prison yard, most of the time people are not fighting with fists unless they're like you know how fucked up a stabbing is going to be by the race, for sure. Whites and Mexicans, brutal, bro. They'll fucking stick 2 or 3 dudes to stab one guy.
Really?
Fuck yeah. I've seen it all the time. They call it 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Yeah.
So to stab one guy, they go
through. They want to prove a point on the yard and they want to fucking kill the guy.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Most of the time they don't die though.
No.
That's the thing. Most of the time they don't die. But they do sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. We had a guy one time that basically the level 4 yard is they have so much structure that on a 1, 2, or 3 yard, there's one big yard.
Yeah.
Right? There's one big yard. No, bro. On a level 4 yard, they got sections to the yard to contain shit.
It's divided.
Yeah, like
It's
there's like 1 and 2 yard on 1 yard. So technically it's supposed to be 1 yard, but it's like 2 yards because you got 1 yard, which is like usually buildings 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, and 3, and the yard the gate goes down the middle.
Yeah.
Where the gun tower is, down to the middle of like building 3 or 4 or whatever, right? And so a yard goes off, they can contain it better. But if a guy's getting stabbed on the corner of yard 2 by like the vocation area, which is like in the corner of the fucking yard, that's the furthest away usually you're going to be. Like cops are coming from the opposite side of the yard, unless there's a couple yard cops posted up in front of building 5, right? And so one day these guys fucking, the yard went off and they called it on the radio. And my dumbass, I used to always like, you get the adrenaline. I was always like the first one there, which means like you're the first guy that you have to use force, because Mexicans and whites will not stop fighting until there's use of force, bro.
Really?
It's fucking, I mean, I've been out of the joint for several years, but I'm just saying back then, I'm sure the same way, there has to be use of force used, which means like verbal commands, chemical agents, weapons, guns, whatever the case may be, depending on how personal or how bad it is if they don't want to get down.
Now, is it whites on whites and Mexicans on Mexicans, or it's usually whites against Mexicans?
No, that's a race riot.
Okay.
But usually Mexicans and whites run together in riots. Usually, not always, but usually.
No shit.
Yeah, and then blacks and others and Asians and everyone run together.
Yeah. So
like we would be others if we were in prison.
Yeah, we're others.
Yeah, we would be others.
I bet you don't see a lot of Indians in prison.
You see some.
Do you?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Did you see any in level 4?
I have. Yeah, I did.
Man, they really fell from grace. I gotta send pictures of them to my mom. Be like, listen, mom.
He fucking fought his old lady sucking on some dude's dick, and he fucking killed her, but chopped this motherfucker up, put him in the desert, and then went and told the cops like fucking afterward where he did it. It was fucked up.
Wow.
I shouldn't even be laughing, but it was terrible.
That is fucked up. Holy shit. So this is a crazy idea. Why not just divide people? I know it sounds crazy, but if you know that this group of prisoners typically go after this group of prisoners, why wouldn't you just divide them so they can't?
No. So race riots and problems like that, that's a big deal. That's bad for business. The whole yard goes down. It's a modified program. No movement. It's fucked for business.
Yeah.
Prison is a business, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like they need to have regular programs so that they can do their business.
Yeah.
If anyone thinks that business and drugs and everything stops when they get to prison, they're fucking out of their mind. Like shit's cracking. You know what I mean? So, because when the yard goes down, modified program goes out, there's no visiting. What does it mean no visiting? No one can bring dope in. No one can smuggle dope in. You know what I'm saying?
So that sounds so wild to me when you say no one can visit and bring in dope. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that's got to be pretty fucking hard to bring dope into a prison.
Oh, no, it happens every fucking weekend, bro.
How?
There's different ways. I mean, there's probably smarter now, but I'm just saying that, like, for example, like, some personal things that I had seen were like, back in the day, they used to do little things like, there's also like there's rules in rules, right? So usually you try not to take a guy down in visiting, right? So like if you think a dude is swallowing or bringing in dope with his old lady or whoever has bringing him the dope, you want to handle that in the holding area, right? Or you want to like you really don't, because it's pandemonium when you're taking a dude down in a visiting, right?
Yeah.
With all the families around, all the races, everybody. And it's just, it's disrespectful, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't help it. Like, I mean, it just depends. Like most of the time, it's past or, I mean, shit, of course shit could come into the mail. That means the mailroom dude ain't doing his job. But what I'm saying is that, I've seen ways like back then, like where, they would like, there's like vending machines, right? So you can buy all kinds of shit in the vending machine. So Whoever it was, usually back then, I mean, usually it was like a girlfriend or a girl or somebody. They'd bring the dope in. They'd probably bring it in through their cavities, right? Either like hoop it somewhere, like,
Yeah, yeah,
in their body cavity, which is we don't have to go into.
yeah.
Yeah. But and they'd get it out either somehow, some way, or they would go to the bathroom and then bring it out and then come back.
Okay.
And then there would be like a bag of chips on the. This is like an old one, but like,
Yeah.
it probably doesn't happen like this so much anymore. But there'd be like a bag of chips, and then they would somehow, some way put all, like, she would act like they're sharing the bag of chips, right?
And
But each time they'd go into the bag, they would have like the balloon of the dope or whatever it was in there. So she would put it in,
Yeah.
act like she's grabbing a chip, eat the chip. Then he would go in, act like he's eating the chip, grab the balloon, eat the chip and the balloon. But usually if the visiting cop's doing his job and watching the video from places and you could see the fucked up behavior, then you can catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then this fucking part, it's game time, bro. You gotta get over there. You gotta fucking grab the dude. You gotta fucking. I mean, back then you'd grab the dude and you'd make sure he didn't swallow.
Doesn't swallow it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just as quick as you can get there. But either way, the dude's gonna be on potty watch or something. If it's
Yeah.
over. But usually you want to try to get the dope right then and there. I mean, there's been shit like that has happened. Usually, sometimes depending, maybe you might just watch the dude eat it, right? And then you'll get him in the back and be like, "Look, we got you on camera. We know you got dope. You're gonna go on potty watch now to." But if you're a superhero cop or you're new or visiting or you don't know, it just depends on the situation. No, you can never Monday morning quarterback situation, but an incident like that. But that's been times where we've had that happen, or it's just it's just so blatant,
Yeah.
know. But we've seen other things, like I've seen women bring it in like kids' diapers and shit, shoes. I mean, I caught, there's sometimes one time this lady brought in like 13 grams of black tar heroin, which I don't even know if they bring black tar heroin anymore. It's probably fentanyl, but
Yeah.
back then it was black tar heroin in, like,
How'd you get in?
like her diaper, the kid's diaper, bro.
Wow. And what? Like the
You just
guy,
got to be smart.
the guy
like,
goes
yeah,
over,
yeah,
pretend he's like petting
yeah,
the baby.
no. That's how she was trying to get it in the.
Oh, they got caught.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and they arrest him right there, and
I-
introduction of controlled substance into correctional facility. It's a felony. I don't know what it is now.
That's
No,
it.
it's fucking laws now.
No,
You
fuck
take
it.
it.
Yeah, they let you go. Slap on the wrist. They tell you not to come back.
Yeah.
Wow, this is what is. I'm thinking about baking the file into the cake, and you're like talking about some high level people pulling stuff out of body cavities.
Oh yeah, bro. You gotta understand, bro. Everything in prison most of the time is transported in the body cavity.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Bro, we don't have to stay on this subject, but just so you have an idea, the biggest thing that I've ever seen somebody pull out of their ass, bro, is a BlackBerry Storm. Do you know what that is? Back in the day,
That's a fucking
there was a
cell
fucking
phone.
Asian dude, bro. I was surprised. I was like, little ass Asian motherfucker pulled a BlackBerry Storm out of his ass, bro. It was crazy. The motherfucking shit is like, it's like a little square.
Yeah, it was like a square. Yeah, it was like this, but a little smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, that was about the gnarliest thing that I've seen.
What?
Ass, bro?
Oh my god. Insane.
That was a long time ago, though, bro.
Yeah.
BlackBerry's.
Now it's
I don't even know
like
if
iPhone 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might be getting those in there. But the way people, this is probably TMI, but the way they work on it. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you remember the little roller, a deodorant,
Yeah.
little ball.
Yeah.
So they would stick that in their ass like at night or whatever to make their ass bigger so that they could get shit in.
To kind of stretch it
Yeah.
out
Mhm.
and then put that in.
Mhm.
I can't imagine what
Any old prison guard that's listening to this is gonna know that's
the thing.
That's an old thing.
I can't imagine the work
Mhm.
to kind of, I guess, like
I think you'd have to have somebody do
like
it.
stretch it out
Your ass.
to fit a phone in. And then how do you walk? How do you walk with a phone up your ass?
I don't know.
That's fucking crazy, bro. Wow. So how long were you in there? So let me ask, okay, hold on. Yeah. How long were you in there?
So yeah, I did 8.5 years. So
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I mean, I was investigation for the last one, right? Because we talked about that a
Yeah,
little bit. But
We're going to get into that.
Yeah,
if you
but
want to get into that.
yeah, no, I just about 8 years,
8 years.
from like I officially separated and left in like February of 2015. That's when everything was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I stopped working in like the end of 13.
Okay.
So I had like a full year of debauchery and waiting on letters and
Yeah.
administrative law judge and shit like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of had
terrible time.
I-
That was during my drinking demise, but I got sober in the beginning of 15. So
I talked to a lot of guys who worked in the prisons, and some of them had the mentality that you were in prison with them.
yeah, I mean, if that's what your perception is, bro, I mean,
Because you're in there,
Yeah.
you can't leave,
uh-huh.
right? So when you got to work, how many? What was your shift?
Well, we would do 8 to 16. I did a lot of 16-hour shifts because I lived out. Well, back over there they call that LA, but this is really LA. But I lived in the Inland Empire, which was about 3 hours from there. So I would try to work like 2 doubles and a single.
Yeah.
Just to get it done. But yeah, I would normally work like 8 to 16 hours, depending on.
And you couldn't leave during that 16-hour. You were in there the whole time.
You can't abandon your post,
Right. Yeah.
But
no, I mean like break.
There's different things. There's count time. There's when inmates are locked up. Things like that. But if you're a yard, I spent a lot of time being a yard cop, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
So you're in the yard with them.
Yeah, when there's yard for sure, and then you're responding to alarms when there's not yard if there is. I've been out of it so long that I don't even know what the positions are called anymore. But back then it was like an S&E, search and escort officer type shit, and I did that job for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you separated.
Well, I was under an investigation that I ended up, it was bullshit. It was stupid, but they were trying. My boss basically lied about something, so he was for sure done on being less than truthful.
Yeah.
And they had the burden of proof. I always say this: there's 3 things under an investigation. There's what they think happened, which is internal affairs.
Yeah.
There's what you say happened, and there's what really happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, they had the burden of proof, and so, they got me on. So basically, it was all over missing ammunition, right? And so my LT, who was also the SWAT commander, or the CERT commander at the time, he put something in my car without me knowing it, right? I didn't know what it was. It was just his bag.
In your personal vehicle?
Yeah, my personal vehicle.
Okay.
And so it turned out that it was like missing ammunition that he had, right? And so I didn't know at the time what was inside the bag, but apparently like it wasn't, it's an institution setting, bro. So all ammunition needs to be locked up.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what the fuck was in the bag, nor what I asked. Like, it's like if you like got in my car, like put something in my car, bro, and it was like your lunch pail. Like I wouldn't be like, hey, bro, what's inside the lunch pail? Open it up and let me see. You know what I mean? I just be like, okay, sure. And I worked for this guy, you know what I mean? So he kind of got me in a little bit of a wreck, but anyway, so he ended up like lying about it at first, and then he ended up saying, oh, I put it inside Saeed's car and blah, blah, blah. And, it was an investigation, all over bullshit and missing ammunition basically. But, they got him on less than truthful, and they had what they call the burden of proof. And they thought that I was a failure to report misconduct. What misconduct that I didn't even know. I didn't even know there was misconduct. This fucking bag in my car.
Right.
And conspiracy, which they thought I was conspiring with
him.
Yeah, over fucking whatever.
So he stole the ammunition. That's like, is that confirmed? He took.
I don't know if he stole it. Well, they're saying that someone gave it to him from the armory, and there's just like
whatever.
Yeah.
He had ammunition that he shouldn't have had.
That he should have either checked into the armory,
right,
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And keep in mind he's an LT, and he was one of the top instructors in the department at the time, and he was a lot of people they wanted to get him.
Yeah.
They used to call him the cat with 9 lives. Like he would always fucking get in trouble or do something. But he was like, he knew his shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was a little bit of arrogant motherfucker. You know what I mean? And hopefully he listens to this and he'll laugh. But
for those non-knowing folks out there, LT means lieutenant, and it's pretty high up.
And yeah.
So what ultimately happened to him?
He took the in lieu of.
Okay.
So he knew we got him, and he had like 18, 19 years in the department at the time. So he was like, fuck it. I'll just take the deal. When I turn 50, I'll get my retirement.
Yeah.
And Syed, you're on your own. No, I'm just kidding. No, but he was like, and so I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't know what the fuck's going on. I'm gonna go to try. I'm gonna go to like the administrative hearing.
Yeah.
Nothing's criminal, but it's failure to report misconduct, conspiracy, and they were trying to get me on less than truthful at the end, and then unbecoming of a peace officer. Right?
Yeah.
And the judge threw it all out, bro. The judge had the hearing. I hired an outside attorney. I fired my fucking union rep, my union attorney, whatever the fuck. And I paid like $75,000 of my own money or borrowed money to, get out of this. And, he won the case for me. The judge came back, said, this guy should have at the maximum of 4 months suspension with time is way been served. He should get all of his salary and money after that. Cause I'd been off for a year at that point, bro.
Wow.
And blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going back to work. It's good. I'm going to, my plan was wanted to get cleared from this. And then I wanted to quit and I wanted to go work for another agency.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go work for a sheriff, a PD or something. Because at that point I knew too much. And I was like, you know what? Like I would rather go do some other shit.
Yeah.
But see, I also had this problem with drinking, bro, that was getting progressively worse. And it was my problem and my solution at this point. And so I was just like, I thought I was going back to work. And then, in the state, any party can appeal. So like if you're the Department of Corrections and I win, you can appeal that.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
And guess who has more money? The Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
So at that point I was like, I can't go to like the next step. You know what I mean? Like these people still want to fire me. Like they don't give a fuck. They're just gonna, and so I ended up not having enough money to keep fighting.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, like I'll just come out. At this point I was like, let me, like, I really need to figure out how to quit drinking. You know what I mean? And so, and during that time is when I kind of had my last debacle, like where I accidentally drank myself to death and I ended up in a critical care unit, So like shit. I ended up,
what were you drinking?
That day I drank vodka, but I was vodka. Every alcoholic ends with vodka, bro. But shitty vodka.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
like real shitty.
Shitty vodka, like Pop Off.
Yeah. And the plastic.
Yeah. And the plastic pint. Yeah, the plastic pint.
Why is that? Why does everyone always?
I don't know.
Why is that always the end?
It really gets the job done. But yeah, it's like you're a fucking loser if you're drinking vodka out of a plastic pint at the end.
That's when it's the
or the little airplane bottle shot. So I used to fucking literally drive around. So I lived in a city called Eastvale, right?
Okay.
And it would border Norco and all these other. Eastvale for some reason didn't have liquor stores, right? Okay. But Norco does. I would literally, when I was suspended from work under investigation, I would literally go to like 3 to 5 liquor stores a day to buy those little airplane shots so that I wouldn't be going back to the same liquor stores and they'd be like, wait, this guy was just in here. You know what I'm saying? Because
why didn't you just buy a big bottle?
Because that's alcoholic thinking and behavior, bro. You think, I only need this much right now, And no, it never ended up like that, bro. Like, yeah, and mind you, like while I was suspended, I was like still trying to like go. I'd gotten my first taste of Alcoholics Anonymous in 2012, right before I went under the investigation. So I was like suspended from work. I'd built this relationship with these people. I was trying to get sober. They were trying to help me. And I just couldn't stay sober, but I was still like showing up to AA meetings and showing up to like events and shit like that. And I was just constantly lying about my sobriety.
Yeah.
And then when I would get caught or when I'd get too drunk and they'd find out, then I would like reset my sobriety date with them. But I was drinking the whole time, just dishonest, right?
Yeah.
And so I would, I ended up, during that time, I ended up like, I got the news that I was going to go back to work and I was super happy. And I remember like telling all my coworkers, I'm coming back, motherfuckers, And they were all, so happy, bro. We knew like that was bullshit. Like, you're a good dude and, fuck that LT, because at that point everyone knew that.
Yeah.
That like, put me in a tough spot, But I made my peace with him, and
Can I pause you there for 1 second?
Huh.
Did your coworkers openly have your back? Or did they quietly have your back?
Fuck no.
Because when I went
half
through,
the people didn't talk to me.
Yeah, when I went through my shit, there were people who quietly had my back, and they would text me, hey man, yo, what's happening to you is fucked up, or whatever. But openly, they wouldn't speak up at a union meeting. They wouldn't speak up to any of the brass and say, bro, this is fucked up. You guys are fucking mad.
Same shit. Yeah. Same shit, bro. The thing is, bro, is your life is so fucking small, bro. Your world is so small when you do that line of work, bro.
And you realize just how little loyalty. Because these are guys that I was on the road with, working midnight shift.
For sure, bro.
Like, I had their back for, like, shitty situations.
For sure.
And in my mind, these were guys that, I didn't have kids. I wasn't married. So some of these guys, when we were going into shitty things, I'd be like, this guy, Chris, has a wife and a kid. I'm not going to let anything happen to him. I don't even know if he likes me, really. But all I know is that if some shit goes down, I'll die before him because I know he has a wife and a kid. So that's how much in my mind, maybe he didn't know that, but that's how I felt.
For sure.
And I felt like when what happened to me happened, none of these guys had any of that feeling toward me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's a one-way street, bro.
Fucked up.
You know, and but you know, a lot of those dudes, I still love those dudes, bro. You know what I mean? Like a couple of those guys I still very rarely communicate with, but still do.
Yeah.
You know, they watch me on Facebook and they're probably hating but happy. Hating but happy, you know, I call it hating but happy. But you know, yeah, I mean, some of those guys, you know, they're my friends, bro. Like, they're still my friends. Like, you know, like I got a couple dudes, bro. Like this one dude, Sergeant Lamb. He graduated. He retired like a couple years ago, and I flew down. My boy, who was a pilot, flew me down in a private plane to his fucking party, and I showed up, and
nice.
You know, everyone's like, there's a saying out in sobriety where, you know, people, you know, they look down at you, bro. You know what I mean? And I'd come so, I don't think I'm better than anybody, but my life was just so different than what theirs is, right?
Yeah.
And it's not good or it's not bad, but you know, I've been through a lot of shit, you know, and it was like some of the people still looked at me like, oh, you're the dude that they tried to fire. You know, or like they were like, you know, like kind of like dismissive to it. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, it was like, that's how small that people's world and their thinking is, bro, that all the time will pass and they'll literally see the person and they'll think of just that moment. You know, they don't even think like, oh, you know, like, oh, like, what happened, bro? You know, or like how you doing? You know, they just you know, they treat you like they did when we first got under investigation. You know, we're like your friend one day, and then the next day, like, who are you? You know?
Yeah, they didn't want to be. I found that these guys, I think they were just, it was a CYA thing, and they knew that if they supported me openly, the chief would notice that, and they might be the next target. So they were like, yeah, fuck that. And most cops don't know that if the target ever lands on them, I think they have this ungrounded belief that they're going to have the support of their brothers. But I think 99.9% of their time, they're going to have no support. And I've talked to plenty of guys who've told me the same thing. They're boys. This guy was at his house on the weekend for barbecues and all this stuff.
Yeah, they'll get covered up enough times, but eventually, if you're a fuck up, they'll get you, bro. You know, no one's, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean, it goes down. But I thought there was going to be more support. I didn't even have support from my union. Like, my union president outright lied to the union.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Because he had to cover himself.
Yeah.
And if he openly in a union meeting told the union that I had not asked him for the union's help and support. And I had text messages to him, phone calls to him, where I'm like, bro, I kind of need your support here. I need the support of the union. And he would say, yeah, no, we got you. Don't worry, whatever. And one of my boys, who was actually one of my boys, at a meeting, stood up and said, "Hey, what are we doing for Mad Haven? He's getting fucked over with this IA thing. It's all fucked up. Everyone in this room knows it's fucked up. What are we doing?" And this guy, who was president of the union, actually said in front of everyone, and multiple guys called me and texted me. And this guy, his name was Andrew Baldino, told everyone in the meeting, Mad Haven hasn't asked for our help. So we're not doing anything. And so there was a couple of guys in the audience that called me, and they told me this.
This is a union meeting.
The
Right?
union meeting. Yeah, union meeting. And I was like, that motherfucker said, what? I said, what? What do you mean? I have text messages to him.
Yeah.
Right? I sent you the screenshots, and I did to some of them. And they were like, bro, that's fucked up. How would he say that in front of the whole police union when there's proof on your phone that you were asking him for support from the union? And it was because he knew that if he got the union to rally around me, that the next target would be on his back.
Because the chief didn't want you.
Right, the chief didn't want me. Yeah, the chief didn't. I was too dark.
Sometimes, people have, I don't know, like if there's a list where they're like, this person, no matter what, this is our chance, I don't know. I was really young, bro, and I was, I was a little high profile, I got involved in a lot of, not only was I did my job where got involved in a lot of incidents, but, I was always like partying and, going to parties and, I did end up getting a DUI, bro, when I was like in 2012. I had it coming, bro. I wasn't like obnoxious, but I was definitely over the limit. I didn't have any like negative contact with the cops or anything.
Yeah.
That was cool, but I had disciplinary stuff, bro. I ended up getting in a fight with a dude on duty one time, and
coworker.
Yeah, and like it turned into an IA investigation, and I think he ended up getting in trouble, and it was just just stupid shit, bro. Like the shit that it's like you have nothing better to do than to prosecute shit like this. I don't know, but I could never be, being an IA investigator is a different kind of piece of shit, bro.
Yeah, it is a different kind of piece of shit.
And you gotta like, I don't know. I feel like you gotta like be picked on your whole life and like thrown in trash cans as a kid and told that you're not gonna be shit and a fuck up, and then turn that all into fucking being, I don't know.
You end up in IA.
Yeah, you end up in IA.
That's what we saw.
Yeah.
So, what was rock bottom for the drinking? What was the rock bottom?
Well, death was rock bottom, but that wasn't enough. Like, so I ended up, So back to my accidental drunk overdose. I ended up
death wasn't enough.
So I ended up so during that time I was drinking on and off all the time, like I was an everyday drinker. And
so now you're separated from
no, I'm still not officially.
There's
still hope, because
they said you can come back, but you said
I'm in purgatory right now, bro.
Okay, but you said I'm not going to keep fighting them because their pockets are too deep.
Yeah. So on somewhere between February 10th and 11th of 2015, I started drinking. Okay, I started drinking. I somehow, some way got my hands on like a fifth or a handle of vodka, and I ended up drinking most of it, or I don't know how much but I ended up blacking out. I ended up drinking so much that at the time I thought, I was like, I better come up with the plan B. So if I'm not going to be a cop anymore, I should like find another career. Maybe I'll go be a nurse. And I was like, so I'm like applying to nursing programs. I like, I was like all kinds of shit. And the story gets better because I ended up doing that and I was fucking terrible at it. But I ended up going, I was trying to get into like a nursing program, and I remember I was supposed to go for like orientation, and I just fucking was drinking too much, and I remember driving like halfway to school, and I was like, no, I need to go drink or something. And then I ended up somewhere around those dates, I drank so much that my family had somehow, some way found out that I was drinking again. When they thought I was sober, I was going to AA. And so I remember waking up and like, when somebody's been home, but like shit's missing.
Yeah.
So like I noticed that like my car keys were gone and like certain things, and like there was a bottle of vodka in my backpack and that wasn't there anymore. So it's like someone knew. It was my mom or my sister, someone came to the house or something. And I remember waking up and I'd come to from a drunk, right? And it's like the middle of the day or like probably around this time, right? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, where's my fucking car? I couldn't even like take my car to go get more booze. I couldn't do anything. And obviously, like, I don't even know if I had money or anything. And somehow, some way, I call my best friend, one of my best friends at the time. He's still my best friend, and he's actually now my business partner.
No
on
shit.
my business, yeah. But at the time, I call him, and he had just gotten. So we both were struggling with getting sober, but you know, he was a little more put together at this point than I was because at this point he had like 90 days sober. So he had gotten sober in September. So I call him, and I'm like, "Yo, bro, like." I don't know. My family knows I'm fucking lying about drinking again. Like, I got to get the fuck out of here. You got to come pick me up. Something. And I don't know what happened, but he said when he showed up, I had another bottle in my hand. Like I had found a bottle, or I had like, I don't know if like I took a taxi to the liquor store or something, bro. But I did something where I got more booze because he said when he picked me up, I had like one of them plastic shitty bottles of vodka in my hand.
Classic.
Yeah, and he was trying to get me to drink it. So when I called him at the time, he was buying a car, he was getting a car or something. And at the time it was the Range Rover. It's the infamous Range Rover, and I'll tell you why it's infamous in a little bit. But he ended up picking me up, right? And it's like middle of the end of the day. I'm blacked out drunk again. And he's just like trying to get me in his car. He's trying to like get me to his house so like the dust can settle, and then maybe I can get sober the next day and like call my family, whatever. And he was just trying to be a friend.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking wasted. Don't remember anything, right? He picks me up. We end up going to he ends up taking me back to Costa Mesa where he lived.
Okay.
And you know, he was newly married at the time too. So, you know, it was just him and his wife in his house, and I guess I pass out in the car on the way there, on the way back. So finally he's like, fuck, this guy's asleep. I'm not waking him up. Fuck it. Drunk. Brand new Range Rover. I'm fall asleep in, right?
Yeah.
So I end up waking up. Don't remember any of this. I guess he left the windows down in the car because he was like, this guy's so fucked up that when he wakes up, like, I don't want him to do something stupid. So I'm just gonna leave the windows down.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll wake up. He'll just come in the house.
Yeah.
No, my dumbass was so fucked up. I didn't think to open the door. I was like, oh, I'm just going to crawl out the window, right? So I crawl out the window of this brand new Range Rover. And this is all being told to me. I don't remember any of this, okay? I come out of the Range Rover. I guess I fucking end up coming out of the window, but I land directly on my head, right? Because my legs aren't working.
Yeah.
I got to get up. Anyway, someone comes out or finds me in a pool of blood, right?
Oh, my God.
And I'm out. And so I had this huge, I split my head open in the back, right? And so someone knocks on his door at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're like, hey, there's some guy like dead on your fucking, on your driveway.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, he'll be all right. Bring him inside. And they're like, no. Like, he's fucked. Like, the paramedics are on the way. Like, we're your neighbor, and we just called. Just want to let you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fuck. So he said he like comes out. By that time, the paramedics are pulling up, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, they're like cutting your shirt off and shit." And I guess that like my pulse, like they couldn't find the pulse or something. So I don't know if like my heart, like I hit my head and I got knocked out or what. But apparently, what was explained to me was that my blood level was so high that my heart was failing. So my blood alcohol level was 0.54, and
So for those of you listening, if you get pulled over for drinking and driving, if you're over a 0.08,
you're drunk.
0.08, you're drunk. You're getting locked up. You were a 0.54.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, and that was like why when they took blood.
Yeah. So you'd come down a little bit.
I don't know, bro. Anyways, all I know is that I could pass a DUI test at 0.24.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're desensitized.
Yeah. And so that's when I got my DUI at 0.24. And anyways, I I basically was just, I basically I came to in the hospital bed, and I was intubated, so I had the fucking tube. I have a fucking catheter in my dick.
Oh,
I fucking have like fucking machines hooked up, like everything you can think of, bro. And I'm strapped to the fucking gurney, bro. And I wake up, like all I can do is move my fucking head, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like I can't move. And I'm in critical, and I could see the little sign and it says critical care, CCU,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember this older, bigger African American woman walked in. Her name was like Nurse Kenyatta or some shit. I remember Nurse K, and she goes, I'm trying to talk, and she's like, you need to calm down. And she's like, I hate it when people like you come in here and waste a hospital bed for someone that's really sick.
Wow.
And I was just like, fuck you too, And I was just like,
wow.
and I was just like, I was just so angry, and I was like, all I wanted to do was like, how did I get here, And at the moment, I was like angry, and then I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, I am fucked up. I'm like, and then I realized I'm like, damn, like I'm on my way out right now, like literally, like critical care unit, like it's life saving measures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh damn, how'd I get here? How the fuck did I get here? I gotta get out of here, So I'm thinking in my head, like, how am I gonna get out of here? But like, I'm intubated, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I have a fucking tube down my shit, And I could hear like the fucking machine,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, anyway, so I'm there, and then like she's like, I have you sedated or mildly sedated or something, and she's like, honey, I don't know what your story is or where you've been, but usually when I make the phone call I make to the family, they usually want to see their loved one last time. And your parents wouldn't come. Your family didn't want to come. And I was like, but your mom told me to call a guy named Mike. And I was like, oh, fuck. So Mike was the guy that was trying to like help me get sober and was kind of like my AA sponsor at the time, And but for 3.5 years I was like lying to him, drinking, And so I was like, oh damn, like I didn't expect to hear that, And so I thought to myself, damn, my mom didn't want to come see me. I didn't even know what exactly happened. So they kind of explained it to me, and then like the next day, I think I went back to sleep or something. And the next day, I remember I woke up again, and those there were like people from the rooms of the 12-step program that I had like seen in meetings.
Yeah.
They were all kind of like coming in the room, and I could hear one of them, my buddy Peanut. His name is Paul, but I call him Peanut. And now I have a sober living home named after him. I named all my sober living homes after people that helped me.
Oh.
And so he's like, oh God, look at you fucked up this time. I could hear him talking, and he like has this funny like grunted joke laugh about him, and he's like laughing as he's walking in, because I'm like textbook alcoholic,
Yeah.
And I'm like 29 at this time. And and they come in, and I'm like, I'm trying to talk, and I got this shit in my throat, and I don't know, bro. Like I'm trying to talk, but like they like look at me and they're just like, be quiet. Like I think you should pray right now. And I was just like, I just like didn't say anything, and I was just like, oh fuck. And then the third day, my buddy came and saw me, and they had just taken the tube out the second day or something. And then that guy, my buddy Joel, he came and saw me, and then, they told me like, no, I didn't really have any place to go, because like my family didn't want anything to do with me. They're like, we're not going to watch this guy die,
Yeah.
So really there was only place for me to go was like people's houses in that 12-step pro in AA that I'd met,
Yeah.
And so Mike picked me up and, took me home, and they gave me like a bunch of, because see, the reason why they kept me in the hospital so long was they couldn't get a normal blood pressure on me. My blood pressure was through the roof because I was going from like a heart failure to like high blood pressure because of the alcohol detox. And my body was freaking the fuck out, bro. And so they were like, okay, let's try to get this guy into a treatment center or rehab. I obviously had no like resources. I didn't want my work to know that I was doing this on top of all that. So they were trying to basically find like a scholarship bed for me, which is like an indigent bed, bro, which is like going to a treatment center or a company, which I own a treatment center now. So I know what a scholarship bed is. But basically you're like, let's just say you own a treatment center.
Yeah.
And I'm your friend.
Yeah.
And I have this other friend. And I'm like, yo, bro, we're friends. Like, I appreciate you. Like, based on our relationship, can you help my friend for free? He really needs the help.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to die if you don't help
Yeah.
him. Like, but basically what I'm asking you to do is give him like a $15,000 to $30,000 gift. Because that's what it's going to cost your company.
For how long?
For 30 days minimum.
Is 15 to 30,000.
30,000.
Okay.
$1,000 a day. Your cost will be less, but that's really what you're asking for.
So you want me to put him up in my sober living home
or treatment center
for
one treatment center because I don't need a sober living.
Yeah.
I need treatment. I need help, bro.
So you're saying, hey, bro.
Yeah. So basically, that's what people were trying to do for me.
Yeah.
Right. But everyone was like, "You're a medical liability. Like your blood pressure. Like fuck, we're not gonna have you dying in our fucking licensed facility."
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay. So they're like, so then finally. I'm like couch surfing friends in AA's houses, right? That guy Mike gave me $20 and he was like, look, back then I was smoking menthol cigarettes and I was, eating like shit, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, here's $20. You're going to need, you're probably going to need like cigarettes eventually. And like, so here's $20. You're going to go stay at Jerry's house tonight. And, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. So he gives me the $20 and I end up going to Jerry's house, right? And Jerry goes to sleep and I have $20. And I'm like,
I was just going to say, who's watching you?
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this is my chance to buy vodka. So then Jerry goes to sleep. I run out the house like I'm like fucking little crackhead out the back door. And I walk like 2 miles, bro, to a liquor store. Like it was like 10 o'clock at night, like very rare. And I walk and I walk and I walk. And I remember, bro, if you're from Corona, I walked from 2nd Street all the way to like Lincoln, bro. It's a fucking long ass walk, bro, for vodka. And so I walk there and I get there and I remember I buy the vodka and I bought a Gatorade bottle. Because what I like to do was I would like to drink some of the Gatorade so it's empty. Then I like to pour the pint of vodka in it, shake it up, get rid of the bottle of vodka so that no one knows that I'm walking.
This looks like you're drinking around Gatorade.
Yeah, bro, because I'm an alcoholic and I have this shit figured out.
Yeah.
Bro. And so, I buy the vodka, and I buy the Gatorade, and I'm drinking it on the way back. And I get back to my friend's house, and I remember calling Mike, and I'm like, "Hey, Mike, I'm at Jerry's house," and he's like, "Good," and I was like, "Yeah, what do you think I should do?" And at this point, I probably called Mike so many times drunk that he probably knew how it sounded.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, you're a real alcoholic. And he said, I think a person like you needs to be locked up in a fucking cage and taken out of their environment just to get sober physically. Like, I don't think it's possible for you to just come to AA and get sober. Yeah. Like, you need to be put away. You need to dry the fuck out. Like, and I don't know what that means. Maybe that's rehab, But he's like, I don't know if you can just do it out here. And, but he said, but there's a guy I think you should call, and his name is Matt. And I knew Matt from the room, fucking asshole, prick, like been sober a long time, but known to help like the lowest bottom alcoholics. Like if you're going to die an alcoholic death and you're breathing, like you're going to go to Matt. He's going to try to help you. You get what I'm saying? And so that's where I was. And so he's like, but you should call Matt. And I knew who Matt was. I didn't like Matt. He was an arrogant prick. He'd been sober a long time. He just had too much truth for me, bro. I couldn't hear all that. You know what I'm saying? He would say something and I would just want to fight him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all I knew back then. I'd been working in a prison yard for fucking 8 years. It was like, you do things how I'm going to tell you to do it, or there's going to be force.
Yeah.
And that's how we did things in there, bro.
Yeah.
Usually you can communicate your way through, and you're going to get what you want through that, or we're just going to fight. And eventually you'll go into handcuffs.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so I had that same mindset with people, bro. Like I was a tornado ripping through people's lives, bro. You know what I mean? And so I would, I just didn't like, I didn't understand the concept of like communication. It was like always like, you know, us telling people what to do, telling
Yeah.
what this is how it's going to be,
Yeah.
you know, and I'll be back and it should be done, you know? And so and then I had this inferiority complex, and I'm a fucking arrogant, narcissistic, alcoholic, drug, you know, induced cop that is just living a double life. And I think I'm better than everybody because I've been working in a prison.
Yeah.
So I'm like, inmates are inmates, and those aren't people, they're inmates, and I'm a person, and I'm a cop, and I'm up here, you know, like delusional, right? I was fucking delusional. And so that's how I conducted my life, bro. And that's how I treated everybody, you know? But at this point, I'm like an alcoholic, low bottom, in the gutter, looking down on people. Like that's really what I was doing, right? And just delusional, bro. And so he's like, you know, I think you should call Matt. And I think Matt can help you. But what we're doing isn't working because I've been trying to help your dumbass for 3.5 years and you just died an alcoholic death. And I can't have that shit on my conscience. And to be completely honest with you, I don't want to go to your fucking funeral and look at your family and your mom and your sister and be like, oh, I'm sorry. I tried to help your son, but I didn't do a good enough job. And there he is in that fucking box, you know? And so he's like, you know, I think you're going to die an alcoholic death unless you get sober. You already did. And little did he know, I was already drinking. Yeah. I was talking to him with the bottle of fucking Gatorade and vodka in my hand, bro. And so I ended up calling Matt and I told, I remember I called him and he answered and it was like 9-10 o'clock at night. And I remember I still remember it like perfectly, bro. Like I'm standing on this dude's yard and there's like, you know, when like the grass is raised and there's a retaining wall and then there's a sidewalk.
Yeah.
So when you stand on the retaining wall, you're kind of like looking over the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like older neighborhoods have that. I remember like walking on the grass and I'm like standing on the curb, like the ledge where the concrete's like, you know, the sidewalk's like 2 feet down. And I remember calling him and like I'm on the phone and I have this ball of fucking Gatorade in my hand with vodka in it. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? It's me. And he's like, oh, I know who this is. And, oh, God. And I was like, yeah, dude, you think you could help me get sober? And he was like, you know, he's like, well, are you willing to go to any lengths to stay sober? And I was like, yeah, dude, whatever it takes, bro. Like, honestly, I don't give a fuck. I just want to not drink vodka at 5 o'clock in the morning anymore. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, I'm a slave to alcohol, bro. Like I had like restless leg syndrome. Like how a heroin addict was hooked to fucking heroin, bro. I was like that with booze, bro. And I was on blood pressure medication. Like I was a mess, dude. Yeah. And so he was like, yeah, dude, honestly, he's like, he gave me the same advice Mike did. They probably talked before. And he was like, you know, you need to go to detox, bro. You need to go to rehab. You need to go to a place that you can't leave and buy booze.
Yeah.
Or steal booze or find booze.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, I don't have any booze. No one's going to take me. So I don't know how, but I ended up calling my mom, bro. Like, and my mom had just retired. She owned and operated and ran one of the largest drug and alcohol treatment centers in Orange County.
Your mom did?
Yeah. So I'm doing all this like while yeah. And so my mom's like, you know, and she knows, and like, you know, I was a cop. Like, no one want to tell me nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And so I called her and she answered. And I had not talked to her since they called her from the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, and she answered and I was like, you know, things are pretty bad. she's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, yeah, you know, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do either. See, my mom had been going to Al-Anon now for 2 years, 3 years, bro. So she was equipped to deal. She had the foundation to deal with a person like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was done, bro. She was over me. You know what I mean? She was like, you know, I'd given up the right to have a family or to have a relationship with people. And so I said, I really need some help. Do you think you could help me one last time? And she was like, let me see what I can do. I'll call you back. So I was like, okay. So my mom had that kind of juice with people.
Yeah.
You could call any treatment center and say, hey, can you help this person for free for me?
Yeah.
And they would probably do it, right? Because she was her.
Yeah.
If she owned treatment center, she probably did that for a lot of people. It's like me calling another treatment center today and saying, hey, I know the owner. I'll say, hey, bro, it's Jamil. Like, I got a family friend. This dude's fucked up. He's going to die, bro. Like, can you help him for me?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
help him for me? People probably say, yeah. That person would say, yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom did the same thing for me. And this guy, his name was Joe Floyd. He's dead now, bro. But he died like of cancer or some shit. But she called Joe. And I didn't know Joe at the time. And she basically asked him to scholarship me a bed in Newport Beach, which is a nice place.
Yeah.
And it was a decent treatment center. And so she calls me back and she's like, I'll pick you up at 10 a.m. Where are you at? And I'm like, oh, I'm on the corner of I'm like, I'll be at Jerry's house, pick me up at Jerry's. And she's like, okay. And the next morning I woke up like 8, 9 o'clock and I'm shaking, bro. And I'm like, I need booze. I didn't have no money. So I stole $10 out of Jerry's fucking wallet. And I ran to the liquor store. And by this time, there was a liquor store that was closer to him open because it's the morning.
Oh my
now,
God.
Right? And so I ran to the liquor store. I bought a couple of those airplane bottle shots. I got like a half pint. And I drank that like literally in a fucking alley, bro, behind a dumpster as my mom's coming to pick me up. And I toss it and I run back over to Jerry's and I hop in the car. And
I'm gonna stop you there because I feel like this is a transition point, and I want to, because this is going into part 2.
Yeah.
But I want to, before we finish part 1, at this point, you're now seeing your mom, who you thought had written you off, come around to help you.
Yeah.
And she's now kind of called in a big favor for you. Probably putting herself out there a little
For
bit.
sure.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I made her look like a fool too when I got there, bro.
Right? And here you are trying to pound some more booze.
I needed it, bro.
Now, were you doing that because you thought that might have been your final?
Well, I also knew I was going to treatment. I felt really sick, bro. I was going to have, we'll go into really what happened after that. But, bro, I needed booze. And I mean, when you're an alcoholic or a drug addict like that, bro, like, you need what you need, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get what I need to get.
Your physiology.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean, bro. I was a fucking pig. Like, I needed what I needed, bro. I needed to get it somehow, some way. And honestly, if I couldn't get it that way, I probably would have been like, yo, you need to buy me booze before we go right now.
Because I'm not going to get any more.
Because I'm not going to, and I'm sick right now, and I need to get there. And you're going to send me to rehab without drinking, Wow. You're going to send me, right? That's my thinking.
Yeah.
And anyways, I'm just a low bottom alcoholic, bro. But any alcoholic that's gotten sober and stayed sober and is gonna just completely understand what's going on right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna segue into part 2. But I think this is a good transition point. We haven't even gotten into...
Yeah, we haven't even gotten sober yet.
Yeah, we're not even sober yet. We might have to do part 3 after part 2. But this is insane, bro. This is insane.
I'm a real alcoholic.
This is insane. This is the most insane. Like, I've heard Eric's story. I've heard other guys' story. This is wild, man. So...
Eric's is very similar. He came out of a dope crack house, got with fucking a jacket on and a hoodie because people were looking for him, hopped in the fucking back. His mom pulls up. He hops in the back seat of the car, lays down. He's like, go, go, go. And his mom took him to another town, bro. And he kicked dope and fucking got sober. I'm not trying to tell Eric's
That's what I
story,
heard.
but
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's what happened, bro. He was a sick fuck too.
Man. Bro, thank you. And I'm so intrigued. I'm so intrigued. This is fucking wild. But I know we already plan on getting together for the next one, so we got to put this down like right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Bro, thank you so much.
For sure.
This is and you're
We haven't even talked about 9 years yet.
Yeah. Like what happens to you next and what you create to help people like yourself next is what's going to blow people away. So thanks, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah, I'm great.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.